Hi guys, Marshall here. Tonight I'm going to talk about a concept called the dual cost of abuse. And this is something that uh, has been discussed a bit in my group, and it's something I've talked about before, especially on my YouTube channel. It's something that deserves a lot of attention, a lot of understanding, especially for two groups. The first group is the victim of the abuse, and the second group are the healthy people who relate to that victim. Now, abuse typically lumps into two basic categories: overt, like they're attacking you, your body, your concept, your identity, things like that. And then covert, which would be neglect or very passive things. Neglect, especially, is a form of abuse that is very, very shaping because it's what you didn't get. And when we deal with that kind of abuse, we do not master the skills. We do not mature emotionally or psychologically or as a person in ways that allow us to relate in proper, healthy ways with other human beings. And this is where one of those two costs of abuse start to show up. Hi, Alicia. This can be very difficult for the victim of abuse because they have to do two things essentially. One, we got to fix the abuse. We pay for the cost of abuse. Okay, so the abuser, the narcissist, the neglector attacks us in some way, and we are abused by it, probably chronically. It's typically chronic, and so we have to deal with that impact, that cost. And then we also have to deal with the cost of our poor behaviors because of what we got and what we did not get. This results in us being very ineffective as a parent or as a friend or as a partner to those who are in our lives at this time. And we tend to feel a lot of shame about that. We tend to feel a lot of pain around it. And my big message is this is normal for our journey. We're not going to end up in the normal category that other people might be in because they didn't deal with these things. We're on a journey that's very different. And I like to equate it to a rocket launch. So everybody starts off at the same point. And so a person with healthy family, healthy life launches, and they get on this trajectory. And they're on their way. They're not going there this way. They're seeing a very different experience at this point. Different stars, different planets, different civilizations. The farther they get out, the more they see things. Well, those of us who started off there and then hit abuse, our trajectory was changed, sometimes just by a few degrees. But over time, that 1 or 2 degree difference becomes billions of miles. And then we're way out here and we're going, man, there's something weird going on, man. They're talking about this planet. I'm just seeing a blazing ball of the sun. And I don't understand what's going on. Why is this different? We start to realize that our world, our trajectory, our experience was abnormal to theirs. It's different. And then we start to course correct because we realize we want to be where they're at. That means we've got to fix things. We've got to heal. We've got to do something different, right? So we start to change. We start to try to fix ourselves. We try to do different things. We get effective therapy. We start healing our trauma. We start moving forward. This changes our trajectory. We're back in line. We're going towards where they're at. But there's still this distance. And that distance might close over time because eventually they get to a destination, we can catch up or something. But we're not going to be the same as they are. And we're going to have to master things they mastered at this segment of the launch. We're mastering way out here. This is normal. We're in a different part of the relational universe, or if we put it that way. But this is what's called the dual cost of abuse. I have to work out the abuse that was done to me. So I have to do the labor the abuser would not do because they don't own their shit. And 2, I have to deal with my behavior and the impact it's had on others. So when we find ourselves in this dynamic compassion, ownership, kindness, and faith are required. And when I say faith, I mean a belief in ourselves that we are improving. We aren't a toxic person. We're a healthy person unraveling a toxic skill or a toxic habit that we inherited or developed in order to survive toxicity. And those of you that will watch this and are in a relationship with someone who is recovering from this, your job is love, compassion, firmness in your boundaries. Ownership matters in this. So your feelings, your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your desires are yours, and the same things are theirs. We don't need to intermix them. So accountability can be maintained. But understand that they're not doing this to hurt you. They're doing this because they don't know what else to do. But if they're in a proactive, and this is where it gets back to patterns, guys, patterns of behavior, right? Not words, patterns of behavior. That's what separates a toxic person from a healthy person when we deal with baggage. Well, watch their behavior. And if they're out there doing this, if they're out there checking this, changing, growing, experimenting, they're active in therapy, they're active in figuring this out, give them that space. They need it. And then, yes, there may be a cost at times you pay in response to that. That is something you need to account for so you can make honest decisions for what works for you in that relationship. Because we're not here to rescue people from their baggage. We're here to be us and to have healthy, thriving relationships. But do understand that they didn't grow up in an experience that's analogous to yours. It's not equal. The world is very different for them. And if they're proactively working that out, your experience in reality will be part of that guide so they can understand what a normal, healthy experience is versus the normal, which was toxic experience for them. But those of us that carry this dual cost of abuse, it's okay to be angry about it. It's okay to be frustrated about it. It's okay to feel whatever it is we do feel about it. Well, I've dealt with my dual cost of abuse. I've been angry. I've been frustrated. I've felt a lot of shame. But I've also felt a lot of love and a lot of compassion. And I've been able to break free of the impact of my abuse. And I've used that ability to grow as fuel because it's my triumph against them and their toxic messages. And that way, the other, if my poor behavior is no longer a factor, at that point, I'm beginning to become a loving, safe person. Well, now I can show myself more as that. We only win when we heal, guys. We only win when we take it on and own it as ours. We win because we gain power. And with that power, we can reshape our skills, our behaviors, and express who we are in more effective and healthy, loving manners. So I've seen this topic come up a bit this week, and it's something that is not discussed in other areas. I've done a lot of study on this, and it's not communicated in this fashion. It's not connected this way. And so I just want you to know, if you're really dealing with this, if you're in your own healing, don't shame yourself for your behaviors. Use the signal of that toxic behavior or that ineffective behavior, whatever it is, as a place to go, oh, I now know where to grow. I know where to become more of a badass for myself. Because it's not a signal that there's something wrong with you. Because again, codependency is not who you are. Number one, it's not a flaw. Number three, it's not a disease. It's not a problem. It got us through what we needed, and now we can stop surviving. We can start thriving. We can heal. We can take this on, and it's really just skills. It's not about who you are. As you grow into who you are and your identity improves, your self-awareness improves. Like, oh, I know what I like, what I don't like. You get more rooted in who you are. The codependency goes farther and farther away because you're not compensating for shame or fear or guilt or fatigue. And that's why the heal system targets those specific things. It's an extremely deliberate system in the way I've set it up, because those are the things that keep us stuck in it. All right. So think about that. Have compassion. If you struggle with compassion or the concept of it, check out a book called Self-Compassion by Kristen Neff. And her website, selfcompassion.org, has some very good meditations and guided exercises on compassion. And it takes time to cultivate it, right? We don't have experience with compassion. Who was compassionate on us, right? They were just like, you've screwed up. You're wrong. Bad. Punish, punish. Now, compassion is a space in which, this is messed up, and I love you anyway. You're loved and accepted anyway. Yeah, look at that mess. I still love you. I still got your back. There's a loyalty to it. Whereas the abuser, the narcissist, the unavailable person has no loyalty to us. They don't care. They just want their supply. So, yep, that's my message for you today, guys. I appreciate you. If you have questions about this, reach out to me. If you want help in healing your codependency, you've got 2 ways to do that. You can join the Heal Mentorship, or you can join TAP, which stands for Thrive All Access Pass. I'll post the links when the video is done. This is the way we start rooting it out. This is the way we transform the shame that powers codependency into confidence. And so Heal addresses the emotional and identity components of codependency. And then when you've completed that 12-week process, you can move into Thrive, which is the skill set aspect, the relational aspect of codependency, where we transform how we relate to others from pleasing or fixing or controlling to or avoiding to confidence, assertiveness, advocacy, and choice. Okay. Thank you, guys. Again, I appreciate you being here. I'll be here tomorrow as well. If you have a topic you'd like me to talk on, just mention it, either on my Facebook wall or in a comment, whatever might work for you. Thank you, guys. Again, I've said that like 3 times now. But I'll talk with you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.